Hello and welcome to Cricket Happenings, dear friends and subscribers. What a day we had at Harare in Zimbabwe today, where the Australian captain Aaaron Finch was in a murderous mood as he murdered the Zimbabwean bowlers today. He really caused a lot of headaches to the Zimbabwean team as Australia totally started thrashing the Zimbabwean bowling, and Aaaron Finch in particular was the chief architect as he went on to break a lot of records while he actually made it. In fact, he made an 172 runs, and I'm just going to I'll be talking about that. So this was the almost he came close to getting the highest ever score in T20 cricket by a batsman, which stands in the name of Chris Gale, but not in international cricket. It's in the Indian Premier League where Chris Gale made 175, but Aaaron Finch was, I don't know what words to describe. He kept on thrashing the bowlers, and he amassed 172. And as far as the international teams are concerned, I think this would be the highest ever T20 score if one does not take the IPL into consideration. And also, en route, he had the company of DRC Short, who was made to look like a spectator, and they put up the highest opening partnership in T20 cricket. So first, Aaaron Finch broke the record by making 172 not out, and he is the one player who has made 150 odd innings, and no player has ever done that. And the opening partnership between them yielded 223 runs. They just fell 6 short of a record which was set by the Indian captain Virat Kohli and de Villiers against again it was again the IPL. And Finn's score, as I said, just 3 short of Chris Gale's 175 in IPL. But other than the international cricket scene, I think Aaaron Finch can be really proud of it. And he set a new record. I mean, he set a new record for the highest T20 score, which was, and also the Finch short stand, that highest ever in T20 is 223. And it was simply a phenomenal achievement from Aaaron Finch, one thought. And also I'm going to look at that. We will definitely look at what, and the balls faced 76 balls. In fact, he thrashed 172 not out in 76 balls, and definitely this was a breathtaking one from Aaaron Finch. And in the, as I said, they got the highest ever partnership, on the opening partnership of 223, which definitely is a big record now. And Aaaron Finch's contribution in that was, he was hit wicket bowled Muzarabani for 172 of just 76 deliveries, which included 16 fours and 10 sixes. It was absolute massacre of the Zimbabwean bowlers. DRC Short, as I said, was made to look like a spectator as he made 46 of 42 balls, 3 fours and 2 sixes. Maxwell and Stoinis were not out, 0 and 1 respectively, and Australia had amassed 229 for 2, and that is also the highest score by Australia in T20 cricket. And looking at the bowling does not make, I mean, amidst all this, there was one bowler who stood out, and that was the left arm spinner Tendai Chisoro. I mean, one has to really doff the hat to this gentleman Tendai Chisoro. Amidst all the big hitting that was going on from Aaaron Finch, Chisoro stood his ground and he bowled his full quota of 4 overs for just 19 runs. So I think that's a great achievement by Tendai Chisoro amidst great hitting from Aaaron Finch. Nimbu, 3 overs thrashed for 44. Muzarabani, 4 overs, 2 for 38. Semblance of respectability. Pofu, 4 overs smoked for 53 without a wicket. Chisora, as I said, that was simply a wonderful spell from Chisora under very, very tight circumstances. Our bull was done for 30, Chibaba 2 for 19, and Solomon Meyer got thrashed for 21 runs of the solitary over he bowled. Now, Zimbabwe were the ones who were chasing the target, and Zimbabwe, one has to say, already the team was crippled, as we know, and there was no Kyle Jarvis as a bowler, I would say, and the Zimbabwean innings never really got any root over there. But if you look at the Zimbabwean card, it was Australia had a big win by 100 runs, with the Zimbabweans being restricted to 129 for 9. If you look at the card there, it was all about Billy Stanley, who had done immense damage, was really targeted by the Zimbabwean batsmen, especially Chibaba and Solomon Meyer actually going at a rate of 10 runs per over. So basically they needed a run rate of 11.45 in the first 5 overs. In the first 3.3 overs, they had already got 42 on the board, and that was pretty good going by any standards. But they could not. They could not sustain it, and the other batsmen could not keep up the tempo, and the wickets kept on falling under a huge pressure of chasing a big target, and that's what precisely happened. Chibaba 18 of 10 balls with 1-4 and 1-6. Solomon Meyer making 28 of 19, 5 fours and 1-6. He was the highest scorer, Solomon Meyer. But other than that, Aston Agar and Ty totally tied them up into knots, and there was nothing that they could do. And in the process, they started giving away their wickets with some big strokes. Aston Agar 4 overs 102 for 16. Ty 4 overs 103 for 12, but Stanley was thrashed for 39 runs of 3 overs with 1 wicket. Jai Richardson 4 overs 1 for 23. DRC Short 2 for 20. 2 overs for 20 runs. Maxwell 1 over 1 for 7, and Stoney's 2 overs 1 for 11. So as I said, the Zimbabwean could not really do anything about it. Masakanda, the captain, was out for 12 or 14 balls with 1-4. Musakanda went for 10 of 7. Peter Moore for 19 of 11, 2 fours, 1-6. Chigumbra was out for 7 of 10, 1-4. Burl 10, Chisoro 6, Pofu 3. And as I said, under the weight of that heavy score that the Aaaron Finch, who was in a sort of a marauding mood today against Zimbabwe, nothing could be done. And Aaaron Finch, well, there is absolutely, one knew that Aaaron Finch was going to get the man of the match award, and really Aaaron Finch, one has to say, has taken to captaincy like a duck to water in this tri-series, and that's what he precisely did as he thrashed the Zimbabwean ball into absolute pulp. And that is, as I said, now he holds the record as for international, but Chris Gayle is the one who holds 175, but full credit. So Aaaron Finch will definitely be a batsman who would be definitely respected. One knows that he already has respect, but one was really surprised to see the way he played. He was simply thrashing the leather out of the ball when the Zimbabwean bowlers were bowling. And also the highest ever partnership in T20s, opening partnership of 223. That's also a very big record. 223 runs opening partnership. Let's have a look at the opening partnership as to one is wanting to see that 223 runs was made. They were there for almost the entire 20 overs. In the 20th over, not a wicket lost, and this is a stupendous record according to me, which will stay for quite a long time in T20 cricket, because this is something which has hitherto not been done, and one has to say that this was tremendous hitting from Aaaron Finch's bat, no doubt about it. And just looking at the opening partnership, this is the highest in T20s, 223, 19.2 overs between Aaaron Finch and DRC Short, and is also the second highest in any T20 match. As I said, if you look at the IPL, but other than the IPL, I think it was a record-breaking match as far as Australia were concerned. So Australia are doing very well here in the Tri-Series. They've already won 2 back-to-back matches here, and I'm sure they are definitely eyeing the finals here. Right, and I'm also told that they're almost through to the Tri-Series final. Now let's have a look at the next match that I'm going to talk about. Is India started their tour of England today with a real bang. It was a wonderful victory in the first T20, which was played at Manchester in Old Trafford, where England were bamboozled by the Indian wrist spinner Kuldeep Yadav, who took 5 wickets, and this is his best haul in T20 cricket, and also happens to be the best haul by a wrist spinner in T20 cricket. And I will definitely have a look at the dismissals that Kuldeep Yadav had, but before that, and England made 159 for 8, and India in fact won the match in a real canter, because 163 for 2, it was given a real thrust by the second T20 century by Rahul. What a knock from Rahul! Simply smashed it, and England could not have an answer to spin, and the batting might of Rahul totally showed up as India went on to 8-wicket victory. And what a start for India on their tour of England, starting off their tour with a big bang here, winning the match by 8 wickets to be 1-0 in this 3-match T20 series. So let's have a look at what happened. So we are looking at the England team now. England started off very well. Jason Roy and Jos Buttler were at the crease, and they were not. I mean, one thought that Jason Roy is a bit lucky, but in the power play overs they took immense advantage out of it, with their Indian bowlers Bhuvaneshwar Kumar especially going for runs, but Umesh Yadav definitely had a handle on them, and Yuzvendra Chahal, who was brought in, also got a bit of thrashing, and it was Jason Roy and Jos Buttler really putting the Indian bowling to the sword in the power play overs by racking up 50 in the 5th over, and that was pretty good going by any standards. But after that, the problem started. Jason Roy was clean bowled by Yadav for 30 of 20 deliveries, 5 fours, and then it was a Kuldeep Yadav show with only the Jos Buttler really staying there and playing only the way he does, with some beautiful cut shots, some innovative strokes as well, and he was really keeping the Indian bowlers at bay with his strokes. So let's have a look at the dismissals now. So they were 50 for no loss at one stage, and it soon turned to 107 for 5. They were 50 for 1 in the 5th over, and the complexion was totally changed by Kuldeep Yadav, who reduced the Englishman to 107 for 5 in the 14th over, thus totally robbing them of the momentum that England had set up. So just talking about it, let's have a look at the wickets. So the first wicket to go, so let's have a look at the wickets here. Alex Hales was a wicket that he took, and Kuldeep Yadav in the 14th over, he had 3 wickets. First he took the wicket of Alex Hales. Now talking about this, this was Hales actually left all his stumps exposed, and he was down. He probably had a premeditated shot at Kuldeep Yadav. He was not able to pick the ball, and he tried to actually expose his stump and tried to sweep him, but the ball was too full and it had already gone and hit the furniture, and Alex Hales was walking bowled by Kuldeep Yadav for 8 of 18 deliveries. After that, then there was a bit of a lull in the proceedings. After Alex Hales' wicket was gone, another 2 overs just passed by, and then Kuldeep Yadav in the 14th over totally wrought havoc into the England camp as he first picked up the wicket of Morgan. Now, this was very smartly bowled by Kuldeep Yadav. He beat Morgan in the air. He tossed the ball up, and Morgan was not able to get to the pitch of the ball, and the ball slightly turned away from Morgan, and it was all over. It had actually nicked the bat of Morgan, and Morgan was walking back to the pavilion. Caught Kohli bowled Kuldeep Yadav for 7 of 6 balls, and this was the first ball of the 14th over. The very next delivery, Jonathan Bairstow walked in, and Jonathan Bairstow had absolutely no idea as to what was happening over here. On the very first ball he faced, he did not know how the ball was going to turn, and that was the wrong one from the wrist spinner Kuldeep Yadav. Jonathan Bairstow probably wanted to just have a forward prod at it. He probably just wanted to push it, but it was all over. Dhoni behind the stumps had collected the ball, and a masterly stumping was effected, and Jonathan Bairstow was walking stump. Dhoni bowled Kuldeep Yadav to the very first ball he received for a blob, and that was the third delivery. It was after the first delivery he scalped Morgan, then he took the wicket of Jonathan Bairstow, and then the Joe Root was sent back into the pavilion. Now this was something which was a big wicket, because one was probably thinking Joe Root will come and stabilize things, but it was a totally a flop show there, as Kuldeep Yadav, with the very first delivery that he bowled to Joe Root, took his wicket, as once again he lobbed the ball up, and Root also probably was thinking the ball is going to turn in. It totally surprised him. The ball turned the other way. Dhoni, there was a bit of a fumble on Dhoni's part, but he used his helmet to recover, and that was all over. He stumped Joe Root. Joe Root stumped down. He bowled Kuldeep Yadav for naught, and this was all watched by Josh Butler, who was standing at the non-strikers and doing his job, but it was all over. Kuldeep Yadav had wrought absolute havoc in the England camp, and they had reduced them to 107 for 5. After that, there was not a response. Moeen Ali was a victim of Pandya for 6 of 8 balls with 1-4. Willie did hit. Willie was the one who actually gave this England total a bit of respectability by taking them to 159 for 8. Yes, one will not forget Josh Butler. He did a good job, but Kuldeep Yadav added Butler as his 5th wicket in the 18th over. Now let's have a look at how Butler got out to Kuldeep Yadav. As far as Josh Butler was concerned, this was the wrong one, and some flight from Kuldeep Yadav, in fact Butler wanted to hit him straight, but once again he was totally beaten by the googly, and it was all over. Kohli actually took the catch, but not before Josh Butler had done a good job for his team, contributing 69 of 46 deliveries, 8 fours and 2 sixes. After that, Willie was not out on 29 of 15, 2 fours, 2 sixes. Jordan was out for duck. Plunkett not out 3, 159 for 8. And Kuldeep Yadav take a bow, as he got his first 5-wicket haul in T20 cricket, and this also happens to be the best. Kuldeep Yadav can really hold his head high. What a spell of bowling from him. 4 overs, no maiden, 24 runs and 5 wickets. One could probably attribute it to the fact that in the 14th over, all the 3 players who played Kuldeep Yadav have never faced him in the past, even in the IPL. So that would have come as a real surprise for them. Hardik Pandya, 4 overs, 1 for 33. Chahal, 4 overs, none for 34, was a bit costly. 2 for 21 for Umesh Yadav, did a good job. Bhuvneshwar Kumar did not find his bearings. 4 overs, went for 45. As far as the Indian innings was concerned, chasing 160. Dhawan was an early victim of the bowling of Willie for 4. Clean bowl for 4 of as many balls with 1 boundary. But after that, Rohit Sharma consolidated, but KL Rahul did not allow anything to chance. He did not allow any of the England bowlers to really settle in, as he started off with Plunkett and started banging the spinners for 4s and 6s. Moeen Ali was targeted as well, and there was, I would say that KL Rahul did not rest till such time he took the Indians to victory, and this was his 2nd T20 century. In fact, 123 runs partnership happened between Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul. KL Rahul was the one who had the maximum share of it. Rohit Sharma was out for 32 of 30 deliveries, 3 fours and 1 6 with bowling of Rashid. But KL Rahul kept going and saw to it that India actually started off the tour in a real bang, as they won by 8 wickets to go 1-0 up in the series. Rahul was not out, 101, his second T20 century of just 54 balls, 10 fours and 5 sixes. A very punishing knock from KL Rahul. Virat Kohli, the captain, was with him to really enjoy the proceedings. Not out on 20 of 22 balls with 1 6. Game over. As far as the bowling is concerned, we are talking about Willie, 4 overs 1 for 30, Jordan 4 overs none for 27, Plunkett 4 overs for 42, Rashid 4 overs, but Moeen Ali was trashed, 2.2 overs, no maiden none for 37, KL Rahul taking full toll of him, and Kuldeep Yadav for his 5-wicket haul was named man of the match. What a match we had here. And also just wanting to tell you, because it's shortage of time here, sorry, I wouldn't be able to do a brief preview of the Bangladesh, who are touring West Indies, and they are playing their first test match tomorrow at Antigua in the Central Recreation Ground. And well, dear fans and subscribers, that really puts a lid on this cricket show of mine today, and it's about time for me to bid you all a very good night. Thank you.